Hi guys, it's Katy here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it has been a hot minute since I was active on YouTube or active much on Instagram. I've kind of taken a little break just because, as you may have noticed, the scenery is different. I'm not filming from home. I'm actually in another city because I'm doing an internship here. So majority of my plants are home, but I did end up bringing a few with me, just those little special gems that I don't want to die. Today I'm gonna show you which those plants are because I do have them in my prop box, as I like to call it. It's just plastic container that's see-through so light can pass through it. It does diffuse it a little bit so it's not as indirect and bright as it is outside of the lid. My plants are growing super well just because it also warms it up, but I do keep the lid open just a little bit because otherwise they would cook. It is relatively hot here. Today is like the only cool day that we had. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first plant that I'm gonna show you or that I've taken with me is this Anthurium papillilaminum hybrid crossed with crystallinum. So this is one of my favorites that I've kept from the batch. I got like 11 seeds, few have died from some strange rot, but this is one of the bigger ones. I do have two at home and they're pushing out new leaves, so they could be bigger by this time. I don't know, haven't seen them in a week. So this is the guy. When I brought him, it was just unfurling this leaf. It has three more, a relatively bigger leaf for a seedling. This was a seedling. I got it in like October, end of October, and now it's this big. So they do grow relatively fast given the fact that you give them good conditions. It is kind of root bound, like I see roots poking out through here, so it's probably gonna have to be repotted real soon. But nonetheless, it's a real stunner and it does have surprisingly nice blue sheen to it, which I just love on Anthuriums. Continuing with Anthuriums, this is Anthurium. Okay, so the mother plant was Anthurium papillilaminum crossed with magnificum, and the father plant was magnificum, so double magnificum wannabe, but it is super beautiful and it does reminds me of Ace of Spades just because it has very heart-shaped leaves and not so prominent venation. The leaves are actually very dark. This leaf is kind of still hardening and this plant is already pushing out a new leaf. It does love the conditions that it's getting here. It is pushing out some new aerial roots and yeah, overall it's just very happy. Some of these hybrids have been popping around Facebook and Instagram recently, and if you have a chance, grab one of them because you won't be disappointed. As we're staying on poppy train, this is an actual poppy my voice. So this is actual poppy crossed with crystallinum. So papillilaminum is pure. It was bred in Leiden Botanical Garden. I'm gonna show you the picture of my plant. It's just beautiful. So this is the hybrid of two. I got this one from my friend. We are trading it for this Ace of Spades crossed with magnificum hybrid. I'm gonna show you it later. So I received this plant with the leaf that you see. It is very well rooted. It's growing a lot of new roots and it actually needs to be repotted, but it is just pushing out a new leaf. So it is very happy. It has very subtle veining, especially on the older two leaves. You kind of don't see those silvery veins that are usually dominant with crystallinums. Poppy have very dominant genes for their recessive venation, so I'm very happy to get me a hybrid. It's like, I know the parentage and one of the parent is a pure poppy, so very happy about this. So I did already mention the Ace of Spades and Magnificum hybrid. So those two were grown from same two seeds that I received at the same time, and guess which seed has germinated the first? It was this one. So this one is a really small one. Actually, it is struggling. I mean, it's better, it just got repotted now, but like if you compare the sizes, you can see the seedling is just way more stronger, better, and just overall, I don't know, it picked up some good genes for surviving in life. So this guy this is the biggest leaf, and it's currently working on a new one, and this particular hybrid has frilly leaves, like the leaf blade is not flat, it's not gonna pick up on the camera, but it is kind of wavy, and it's such an interesting feature to have. Plantetic sold these guys. I was lucky to get 2 of these, so I'm kinda growing them out. I wouldn't trade this one, but as it is staying in the circle, I'm letting him go for the sake of, you know, sharing plants with some good friends. And then we have a very, very special plant. Take a guess, take a wildest guess of what is this, because I did not imagine me owning this in like 5 years of time. So, have you guessed already? So this is Anthurium carla blacki. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Yes, it is the original one. No, it's not Vilanorum as someone commented on my Instagram post. It does not look anything close to that. It is a small baby. It came a long way from America, so I'm still happy that it made it. It is slowly working on pushing out a new leaf. It has some yellowing, but the leaves are staying, so it's not like they yellowed in a few days and they're gone. The roots were okay, and overall this seedling is very strong. It came from a batch of F1 crossed with Amanda. It's a hybrid that Dylan made, if you follow him on Instagram. So these boys have amazing genetics, and I'm just so happy to own a pure species, and it's Carla. Oh my god, what even? I shed a tear or 2 or 3 when I received it. Mind you, this was a gift, so forever grateful. Like, I'm even tearing up right now. Continuing with the Anthuriums, next one is Anthurium forgetii. This cutie pie was grown from a stump that was gifted to me. So it was just unfurling this new leaf when I brought it here, and it has unfurled and hardened. It's the cutest forgetii you've ever seen. Prove me wrong. It's been a good boy, and it's actually growing roots, because Anthuriums are kind of known to be rootless for quite some time, especially their stumps. So he is sharing a spot with another stump. Take a wild guess what this is. It's actually Anthurium that I've had my eye on for quite some time, but I just cannot justify the price for it. So this is Anthurium luxurians chunk. It has a growth point, and it has been growing ever since I received it, so this is really good. It's gonna be quite alright growing such a small plant, but I'm here for it because eventually I do want to get me a more mature specimen, but there's just something exciting about growing your plants from 0 and then seeing how far you've come. So this is definitely an upcoming project for quite some time. Next one is a sad story. So this guy also came from America. It's actually a seedling from NSA. It's Anthurium red crystallinum. It had 2 growth points, but they just melted, like they cooked. Sadly, shit happens. They did came from America, so a casualty. I'm just glad that Carla made it. I refuse to throw this away, so it is staying in the moss. I'll probably just, you know, preserve its leaf or dry it. As a reminder that I did own a red crystallinum, I do believe they will get more available soon, just because a lot of people are starting to have it, in Europe at least, so it's gonna be here sooner or later. Next on, we're moving to Anthurium seedlings. These 2 cutie pies are Anthurium magnificum hybrid seedlings. I kind of have to sell them. I brought them with me just for this reason, and I haven't had the time nor the energy to put them up for sale, so they're here. And then we have more Anthurium seeds, because I have an unhealthy obsession. These are Anthurium magnificum and these are no idea Anthurium. So these guys have just started sprouting and so do these. The difference in size of seeds with these two. Those are some of the smallest seeds that I've seen in my life in terms of Anthurium seeds, because if you've seen healthy Anthurium seeds, you know, they can get relatively big, like even to small like pea size. Next one, we have a plant that I also did want for quite some time, but I didn't get it, but now I have it. So this is a philodendron majestic. So it is a cross between two species that I love because I love varicosums. They have a special place in my heart, and soleroys are just beautiful. And then this gorgeous thing was made. Hallelujah! So this was grown from a wet stick and it is currently working on its second leaf, so that is exciting. It's gonna take me quite some time to get it to more mature form. So the next plant is an oblique, and it's not Oblique Peru. The Peru is actually kind of the most common in terms of obliques. Everyone knows for it, majority of people have it, but this is actually Monstera obliqua amazonas, I believe this is how it's pronounced. It's a adult shape, it's very interesting. You either like it or you don't, but I find it very unique. I'm gonna show you a picture here. It has very specific fenestrations and long leaves with beautiful matte finish. Super pretty. Like I've seen the slightly more mature form, it didn't have fenestrations yet, but the leaves were super beautiful. This is a one-note cutting and it has sprouted. It is growing faster than Perus because Perus are kind of known to be very slow growers, especially if you get them from runners, because the runners are just so small. So the next plant is a plant that I've actually won in a mini game. I'm gonna show you a screenshot here. So I basically had to guess what the wet stick was because it was a wet stick at the time and I did guess correctly. So this is Philodendron Burnimax Fantasy. It is a very small specimen, as I mentioned, grown from a wet stick. But I am excited to grow it out to more mature form, and for this particular plant I will go and make a moss bowl because I haven't made moss bowls in probably more than a year. Bad plant parent moment, perhaps? And the last two plants that I brought with me are actually the variegated adansonias. These are all the classical form, but this guy is doing some weird shit. Like, it's actually very highly variegated, but the variegation turns minty. I don't know why I thought it was the artificial light, but I've been having it in my propagation bin and it's only been getting direct sunlight, like indirect sunlight, and it's still doing this, so I don't know. Any insights, please? Growing a new leaf, very nicely variegated, still in moss because I'm a lazy ass bitch. And yeah, it needs to be repotted, needs to be propped, needs a lot of things. I think I'll be doing this soon because I do have to cut the other plant as well. And this is a mid-cut. It has 2 nodes and this is one that got activated. As you can see, it is pushing out purely white leaves with beautiful fenestrations though. But I'm still waiting it out because these variegated adansonias are kind of known to be like, hey, let me push out, I don't know, 3 fully variegated leaves and then it's gonna be back to green, or vice versa. Worst case scenario, I can still cut it once and this node will activate. So it's not like I've exhausted my options here, so we'll see. Hopefully you've enjoyed this what's in my propagation box. Hopefully you guys are doing good. I will try my best to get back on the schedule, but we're gonna see how that goes. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit that notification button, and I will see you next time. Bye!